Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, Rando fans. My name is Tyler Saltz, and I am here with this ALTTPR League playoff match between Radical Sniper and Ralen Tankir. Once again, I'm Tyler Saltz. I'm here in the booth with Esmar. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So this is going to be Game 5. This is the conference semifinals in the Open League. I've commentated a vodcast of I think it was Game 3, where Ralen was actually also playing that match that was against Zeronix.
Yep.
I know he was pretty disappointed with the outcome of that one because that brought the Amish Paradise up to a 2-1, and so now he's got to bring it back and bring it all home for them, and hopefully they can take it here.
Yep.
On the other side, also hopefully they're hoping to take it as well. Both teams want to win.
Absolutely. Ramon beat Jocelyn Sauce yesterday to force this Game 5. Both Radical Sniper and Ralen lost their matchups earlier in this series, and so both of them are hoping for a little bit of a redemption here. This is standard start, vanilla swords, all dungeons, and map, compass, and small key shuffle. And we are away. We're going to have to do some syncing here. Oh, we're better. All right, the single arrow in the first chest. Good start.
Yeah, not too useful in the standard start. I am definitely digging the Hollow Knight sprite, though.
Yeah, we got the Hollow Knight sprite. We got the new Samus sprite, I believe, there over on the right on Ralen's side. So yeah, like I said, standard start, vanilla swords. They're going to get a vanilla sword here from the uncle. It is all dungeons, and we have got maps, compasses, and small keys shuffled. How do you feel about the map, compass, small key shuffle there, Esmar?
Well, just map and compass shuffle is one thing, because then you don't really have to worry about the main part of key sanity. But with the small keys being shuffled, there are a couple of small keys that sort of take the place of the big keys that are, in the dungeon. The main one being that everybody knows about is Swamp Palace small. And then there are a couple dungeons where you're going to need to find a number of small keys. Then we're going to want to see that going forward.
And importantly, since this is an all dungeons seed, we are going to need both of those Castle Tower small keys in order to beat AGA 1, that it will be required in this all dungeon seed. So oftentimes these key sanity, all dungeon stuff end up coming down to those Castle Tower small keys, which very often do not lock anything. So really our runners are kind of hoping for an AGA required seed here, at least as far as Dark World access is concerned.
Yeah, we do find the book here in the first chest of the escape sequence. That's gonna be it's gonna open up some options. It's gonna allow the runners to check the ether tablet when they make it up there, provided they've gotten a second sword by then. And given that this is vanilla sword, they already know where all the swords are.
Yeah, so I would imagine that we will vanilla swords tend to limit our runners to 3 swords generally. Although this being an all dungeons seed, of course, we could see a ped pull for that other sword as we find the hammer. That's really nice to find early.
Yeah, vanilla swords is a particularly nasty setting just because of the vanilla requirements for all of the swords are not the friendliest in a randomizer setting, but the old dungeons does kind of alleviate that just a little bit. You're guaranteed to need to get all the pendants, get both of the 5-6 crystals. So it's a definite possibility that we can conveniently get more than 2 swords.
All right, there's our key from Zelda's cell.
Yeah, since this is a standard start, the small key does have to show up before by Dark Cross, basically. So it was either there or in Dark Cross if you haven't seen it yet. Otherwise, there's really no way to proceed.
We're gonna see if we can get that get the layout adjusted. Got to ping somebody, so stand by on that. This is not the Courage Open match. This is of course Game 5.
Yes, the German restream is sort of taking the lead on this one, which I think is fantastic. It's really nice to get some of that international representation here. We are an English-speaking stream here, but yeah, Ups, da war es auch nicht is very clearly a German team.
It's much better German than mine is. It's pretty good. That roughly translates, if you're not aware, to "Oops, it's not there either," which is pretty good.
It looks like Ralen is the first into the back of escape, so a slight lead, but nothing that can't disappear in an instant later on. Finds that all-important bomb on the rope there.
Yeah, you love seeing that bomb early on Ralen's side. Hopefully, Radical Sniper will also get that drop. We got the flippers there in the dark cross chest.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of handy items. The biggest one, of course, being that hammer. It's going to serve as a nice alternative until we can pick up our second or third sword for some of the higher health enemies. But it's also an important part of our Dark World access.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Radical Sniper did not kill enough ropes to get that drop. Nothing super critical potentially over there. There was a bottle in the back of escape and the small key to desert, which could obviously turn out important. But I imagine nothing like the moon pearl or a glove back there.
Yeah,
which
a
would
glove
be really
being back
big.
there, which would be
Yeah,
because
glove being back there would have been really bad for Radical Sniper.
Yeah, because that's one of the items that you would need to logically get back there without going through the entire front of escape sequence a second time.
Although I learned recently, I didn't know this for a while, that if you do have to go through the escape sequence a second time in standard, you still get that light cone in the basement if you don't have the lamp, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, I don't think that used to be the case. It used to be that you'd get it the first time, but once the world state was updated, then you would need the lamp again. I seem to remember that being the case, but of course I can't prove it without going through my old seeds and opening one.
And nobody expects you to do that. That's above and beyond. We got hearts from the first tree pole. We got a fairy from the bush crab. Oh, there's a key in the Lost Woods. And 50 rupees on Lumberjack. Amish Paradise likes to make that Lumberjack check. Ralen skipped it. That ended up being almost pretty big knowledge in Game 4, where there was a required big key on Lumberjack, but which Jossum Sauce knew about, but Rahman didn't. But it ended up being that they were both kind of got funneled there for go mode at the end of the seed anyway.
Yeah, it's. I feel like it's more common to skip the Lumberjack check if you don't have the boots. Just because if you have the boots, then you know that as soon as you've got the required items to go up the tower and defeat Aghanim, in this case, being a much harder requirement, since we do need to find 2 small keys, you can't pick up that item anyway. So,
but also,
it can be a little safer to decide, okay, I'm going to cut that time out,
But also, that you're going to be defeating Aga at some point as well.
Right.
And there, if you get the mirror early, makes that an easier check. Like, there aren't very many better times to do that check. And I happen to know that that Sniper's philosophy. I remember talking to these guys. I'm friendly with a couple of them during co-op week, was collect information wherever you can, and that tends to be my MO as well. I do like to see where things are. I tend to check LJ every time. I tend to check bumper ledge every time, that sort of thing, especially when I have that stuff.
So a little unfortunate here. Radical Sniper does not have any bombs here left for the rest of rest of Kakariko. So if none show up, he may have to double back to get the back of the well.
So he will be able to buy bombs.
Right, but that's
here.
just a
He has
little
80
bit of extra
rupees.
time that he would rather not be spending.
I would rather go buy the bombs now than double back and jump into the well twice, personally. But I really don't know which one's faster. He's going for it, though.
Yeah,
It's game 5. Leave it all on the table.
What I've usually heard to be the recommendation, if you come into the village with no bombs at all, is you just do well first. And if you run into a couple bombs here, well, there are the gloves, so he's going to be getting that that bottle. Probably not right now, but he will be picking that up in fairly short order.
Yeah,
probably after South Shore, I would guess.
And we saw the swamp small key here on the bottle vendor. So Sniper's going to have to make sure that he makes it back for that after this kind of less than optimal trip through Kakariko Village. Although we do get the hook shot out of the tavern.
Yeah, a lot of nice items showing up. With the glove and the hook shot, that's out of logic Paradox Cave access.
Yeah, I got to say, we've got the flippers, we've got the swamp small key, we've got the hook shot. I wonder if this seed could be telling us something about how early we need to go to Swamp Palace.
Yeah, if the mirror shows up, I would imagine these runners fully expect to see something in Swamp Palace. Then again, unless the mirror shows up, we can't get a single thing in there.
That's true.
It would be completely different thing if hookshot was the only thing missing from that whole equation, because you can get quite a few chests in Swamp Palace without having the hookshot, but
yeah, and
you can't even get in the front door without mirror.
Yeah. Just 10 arrows in the library. I wonder if either of our runners, this will be interesting to see. When I get the bomb early, or excuse me, when I get the book early, I like to we get the moon pearl back there. It's a good thing that
nice.
Jesse was able to get those bombs. That's Dark World access in the 11th minute.
I would imagine, I know Ralen's been having some, apparently having some issues with freezing, so I would imagine that, yes, after a save quit, Ralen has cleared out Kakariko too. So Ralen is also going to have that moon pearl, I imagine.
Yes, definitely. He had bombs going into the well. Now, I wonder, to finish my thought from earlier, when I get the book in Kakariko, one thing I like to do is kind of do South Shore in reverse. And rather than go dam, mini Moldorm, potentially over to Ice Rod Cave, I'll go do mini Moldorm first, then the dam, and then chain in Agina and the Desert Ledge and an early desert check.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad, especially with that Desert Small having shown up for Ralen.
Which is unfortunately was in the back of Escape, so that makes that play significantly less enticing for Sniper.
Yeah, we do also have the logical flippers checks, but given how low our rupee count is right now, that's a lot less attractive right now because you can't carry it all the way through into the Zora check. So I think it would make a lot of sense to just potentially, I'd have considered starting at Mini Moldorm Cave and then going right to left into the desert. You can see Desert Ledge. You can pick up that item right now. There are a lot of upsides to that route.
Seems that Jesse, that Radical Sniper, I keep wanting to say his real name, that Radical Sniper has remembered back of Escape, so that's good, and is going to go pick up that bottle and that Desert Small. So we see a bottle out of Mini Moldorm and a whole lot of nothing else.
Yeah, I really like doing this before South Shore because you really can come back and do this whenever. But sort of the issue being, it's not like an open seed where it's, it's locked by the glove or whatever. In Standard, he knows that there's a very real chance that his opponent got it on the way out. So you kind of need to shore up that sort of deficit as soon as you can.
Right, and considering that you have to save and quit out of there anyway from a save and quit, so it doesn't lose a ton of time going back for it right there. Is we are going to see Ice Rod Cave from Ralen.
Yeah,
we'll see if... Go ahead.
That's one of the other reasons that I really think I like the Mini Moldorm left path is that going all the way over here to Ice Rod Cave is without the flute or the boots is kind of slow. And if you can do a whole bunch of other stuff first, in the hopes that you can make that check a little faster when you get around to it, I would say that's not a bad bet. But
it looks like Ralen is headed there now.
Yeah, not. Yeah, he's going straight to Dark World. This is another option that I think makes a lot of sense too, because when you can start at Hype Cave, there's a lot more density there than there is in.
In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, I might have done this before South Shore entirely, considering that we had full Dark World access by the time we got out of Kakariko. You know, like,
yeah, we don't have the mirror, so there's a lot less. If the mirror showed up at the South Shore, then you can wrap Cave 45 into this. There would have been some sure. Nice things. You kind of don't want to jump the gun too much.
But there are the boots.
Yeah, those early boots are going to help a lot.
So Ralen gets to start going fast here with those boots. We'll probably take this to the left here. Yeah, so go and do an Stumpy and Dig game.
Yeah, this is I really like this route generally when you have the opportunity to, because at best you knock out some checks that you otherwise have to route in somewhere else. But most importantly, you can take it through into the Dig game, which is one of the things that throws a wrench into the whole, purple chest smith chain stuff, because you can't do that check while you have a follower.
That's exactly right. Fear Gas in chat bringing up, Ralen did not go to the bomb shop to check the 5-6 crystals. Normally I would be like, you should do that, Nikki Sanity Seed, but I will say this is all dungeons and it's vanilla swords. So we know what one of the items is there at Pyramid Fairy already. It's a sword. So maybe a little less important to have that knowledge right away.
Right, and we're also sort of looking for less items overall than a typical key sanity for dungeon completion, in that we don't need to find the big key out in the world. Those are always going to be in the dungeons themselves.
All right, Radical Sniper heading to Hype Cave behind basically the bomb issues through Back of Escape and Kakariko, but both of our runners have essentially made the same checks at this point.
Yeah, and come to think of it, I think the decision to not go to Desert is mostly informed by the fact that they don't have a fire source right now, and so they can't complete the dungeon. In which case, the value of making that play is a lot less, because you're not getting the most out of your time, and it is a lot more time than these checks that they're doing instead. They're a lot more dense here.
I hear that. I think I still disagree, and here's why. This is all dungeons, so we know we're going to get the flute, and we know we're going to get the mirror, right? So we will be able, at some point, probably at least, there's a pretty good chance that we're going to be able to go and just finish off Desert really quickly when we head over to Misery Mire. All right, red crystals at TR and Swamp.
That's not fun for vanilla swords.
No. Yeah, so
luckily we do have most of the requirements for Swamp.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, TR, that one's
got
rough.
a little while before we're going to be able to do that. But yeah, that with the boots now, especially, that you can get everything out of Desert except for Landmo, right? So I'm sort of okay with leaving Landmo until later and going over there and chasing that book early, hoping that the seed was telling you something about that.
Yeah, and it's possible that is, I would say that's a little bit less safe of a play. I wouldn't quite call it risky, but it's definitely less safe than just sort of hanging on to the book and going for it later, because if it doesn't pay off, it's a kind of large time investment early that you could have been spending finding something useful and getting a different advantage. So it's the kind of play I feel that has to pay off for you to really feel good about it afterwards.
Yeah. Just trying to farm up some money. Unfortunately, misses a couple arrows here, so is not gonna be getting the whole bang for his buck out of the archery game.
Yeah, this is one of those mini games that if you ever want to play inverted, you should definitely consider getting good at that mini game, because it can speed things up considerably, given how early access, you've got chess game, you've got dig game, both of which are relatively expensive and available almost immediately.
Yeah, dig game 80 rupees, chest game 30 rupees.
Meanwhile, Ralen is already into the village of outcasts, heading into Thieves Town here. Sort of the lowest item requirement dungeon in the game, particularly so in if the big key is guaranteed to be inside the dungeon, you really don't need anything.
Yeah, can beat this, cannot check the big chest unless the small key shows up in the dungeon, which is possible, but unlikely. So we'll see if Radical Sniper ends up doing similar. There's the lamp, our first fire source in Thieves Town.
Yeah,
nice
and
find.
it also puts the mountain in logic.
And the mirror. Ooh, Thieves Town with the goods.
I like this play from Ralen to take that mirror and just leave immediately. Come back to it maybe when you've got the small key to open everything else. Just because that's it really doesn't take any more time to come back to that and do the end than it does to finish out the dungeon from there, and you're skipping an item.
Absolutely agreed. Yeah, and Ralen taking the mirror and the boots right over here and going to knock out some checks that can be hard to route in at times. King's Tomb and Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if he finds, it would be really nice for him to find a 300 rupee here, because that would give him a really nice opportunity to potentially go all the way through Catfish Zora. Does he? Neither of our runners have been up there yet.
Thinking. Yeah, I like the way you're thinking there. Some rupees, not enough.
Yeah, he's a little low on it though. That's pretty hopeful. He might go up there anyway and just say nuts to Zora. I don't know if that's Ralen's style.
As Chat's pointing out, he could Houlihan. That would not get him enough. But if he did get a 300, he could. Although that would eliminate the advantage of already being up here and being able to mirror over from Catfish.
Yeah, I mean, and there are 3 logically accessible items over there in the light world. There are 4 logically accessible items, and he can get 3 of them. And I personally feel like not orphaning Catfish could be worth it, but I also think it's really sensible to not take that chance when you can go up the mountain, when you are so low on rupees. I would say doing Skullwoods up the mountain makes a lot more sense, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, unless I find a 300 there, or maybe even 2 of them, I'm not making that play. Especially on Ralen's side when he just got the lamp and the mirror and knows that he can clear out the entirety of Light Death Mountain right after this. I do like, however, the early Skull Woods play, especially, I like it regardless, but especially in keys or anything resembling keys, because there's so many more items in here as we find the Ether Medallion in the Vanilla Big Key chest.
Yeah, and we also did find a Skullwood Small on Stumpy earlier, which is going to be really helpful in terms of routing the front. Unfortunately for Sniper here, he didn't go to Thieves Town first, so he doesn't have the mirror, which is kind of nice to have in this front.
It is, but he could be planning to. He's got a key, so he doesn't lose a ton of time, right?
It's just really nice with the mirror, and Ralen's going to be able to take advantage of that. So he's going to make up a bit of time here, and Ralen was already ahead earlier on because Sniper had to spend all that extra time in Kakariko because of the bomb situation.
People are talking pedestal. Our runners do not need to check the pedestal because it's vanilla swords.
They still could. They could blind pull it, but they do know what it is. If the opportunity presents itself, I would imagine they would grab it as long as they didn't already have 3 swords. Yeah. Grabbing it for gold sword would be a little gratuitous.
That'd be questionable. Yeah.
But I definitely would grab it for if it was tempered sword.
Somebody should time that. Whoa! I didn't. That's cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know that you could hookshot through that spike there on Ralen's side. TIL. I was saying that somebody should. Ooh, they're the mitts.
That's Dark Death Mountain as well.
Could be headed up the mountain here immediately, I would imagine.
Whoa, Sniper not getting that bomb jump. He's given up. He's going vanilla, I think.
No. Oh, he's going the other way. Okay.
Yeah, he's not skipping it, but he's going the vanilla way.
Yeah.
This is the way I do it because I take a hard line on bomb jumps. I don't like setting them up.
Your hard line is don't.
Yes. I don't care if it loses me races.
That's defensible.
I'm gonna keep playing the game. And my rank reflects that, my rank on ladder.
Fair enough.
So now Ralen is checking the lumberjack. Just because he's in the area. This is kind of the last time he's ever going to be anywhere near here. And yeah, Ralen goes up the mountain. This has been slow in terms of like actual dungeon completion, which is not unusual in Keys.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But especially given the items that have shown up, yeah, you're gonna want to go straight up the mountain here.
Yeah, this is the clear next play.
Now, looks like Sniper's
Oop.
checking
Bumper ledge.
Cave ledge.
Well, actually, what he's doing is taking an
No,
unfortunate
he's-
overworld death.
He's got
ferry.
the
Alright.
ferry, yeah.
That's good. Still, better places to use that, I would hope. But yeah, the mountain, the clear best play here for Ralen with all the, you can clear everything up here except for Turtle Rock and Spike Cave. And he can
I'm
check
really not
Ether
sure.
Tablet.
I'm not sure how I feel about Sniper's, routing in how he's done the Dark World. Sure, like Skullwood's first makes sense, but it seems like he's doing a lot of walking around.
Yeah, Skullwoods would be. I think that I usually do Thievestown into Skullwoods if my first Dark World access is through the village. But if you're going to go to Hype
Right.
Cave first, you do Thievestown first. All right, we saw.
Right, because the bonus of doing Skullwoods first is you do Skullwoods, work your way down to Thievestown, and then you hop the ledge. If you don't have the mitts, you can't go up into Thievestown, but there's nothing stopping you from going down. But if you've already completed that south side of the Dark World, I would say it makes more sense to sort of continue that trend, keep working your way up, even if it is maybe a little bit slower to not go straight into Skullwoods from that portal. I do like doing what Ralen did in doing Thievestown first, and it
agree.
did pay off with the lamp and mirror showing up.
So we saw crystals at Ice at Thievestown and at Skullwoods. We did not see, or I did not catch what Ralen saw that was on the Ether tablet. Nice Harapot there by Ralen.
Yeah, in general,
Ooh, a big
I feel like Ralen's execution is quite good.
no.
So he again, like he was confident in getting that bomb jump first try. Sniper had to do he tried it 2 or 3 times. So hopefully that's not a trend that is going to continue throughout the rest of this race. Certainly for Sniper's sake.
Yeah, correction. It was the compass to GT on Ether tablet, but we did just see the first Castle Tower small key in Tower of Hera, so that's nice to find. Of course, we will need both of those. It is all dungeons.
Now, I'm not a big keys player. When do you decide to or not to go into Hera basement?
I think, well, he doesn't have the small key, so if I don't have the small key, if I'm playing keys and I don't have the small key immediately, I am leaving it and I'm going to last location. But if I do have the key when I'm headed up there, I'm doing it.
Okay. So it looks like Sniper here is doing cleaning up the bottom before going up the mountain, which makes a certain amount of sense, especially when he's getting another sword for his trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd forgotten about the vanilla swords there for a second. So, but otherwise, I don't know that I like this very much.
Yeah, I don't know about the commitment to the play here, and even so, I see why Ralen would decide to not do it before going up the mountain, because there's not much use you have for the Master Sword other than the potential for that Ether tablet, which he knows is nothing. Maybe Sniper is just wanting to shore up the rest of these checks because he gets to clear out Cave 45 at the same time. and potentially make it into a swamp play.
Bombo's tablet as well.
Yeah, Bombo's tablet. So this isn't necessarily as bad.
Actually, he's going to Swamp Palace is what he's doing.
Yeah. So yeah, like as we were mentioning earlier, that mirror showing up put Swamp in logic. So I actually kind of do like this in a sense.
Yeah, I had forgotten about the Swamp play, and I like this a lot more now that I've remembered that. Or at least I understand it a lot more. I think I probably would have gone up the mountain, but you got all the Swamp stuff early. Maybe you find the flute in Swamp. Or the cane or the fire rod or something like that.
Where did the shovel show up?
Shovel was somewhere in CAC.
Okay.
Just a map though.
So yeah, that actually it makes a lot of sense here for Sniper to make this, because it sort of fills in the holes in this area that Ralen is kind of leaving there, following that mountain. And he's gotten a dungeon clear, but other than that, not a huge amount has really materialized for him.
Yeah, if by not a huge amount you mean absolutely nothing of value whatsoever so far.
Yeah, I was sort of trying to cover my bases in case he'd found a key or something that I missed.
I didn't. He did find. He's up to 4 pod keys, which is non-trivial for sure. There was a pod.
Yeah,
key
that's enough. That's enough to
Beckrock.
full clear pod with the right game knowledge.
Just a Myers Small in the purple chest, which feels bad.
I wouldn't say it feels bad in this situation, just because he's doing it on the way to. It's routing in nicely enough that it's like, okay, sure, I'll take the Myers Small. Make my routing maybe a little nicer.
Yeah. Myers Small keys are useless.
I mean, you'd like to see something better than that, but you don't feel too bad about it because he's not really going hugely out of his way to turn in that chest.
There's a pod small in the or pod small on Bombo's tablet.
So it looks like he's going for the desert clear first, which makes an equal amount of sense.
Yeah, I like this. So actually, you know what? Now I wasn't even thinking about this. As we see Hype Cave here, it looks like the Ice Rod was in Super Bunny Cave for Ralen. Not much so far in Spike Cave. Yeah, nothing else. So just the Ice Rod up in the other
nothing
round.
in Hookshot Cave. But as you mentioned, that Spike Cave is in logic here.
Spike Cave is not in logic.
Oh, it's not. It's not
but
in logic, but
doable,
it's certainly available.
Because they have a red potion. But I will say,
I imagine Ralen does not leave the mountain without cleaning that up.
I was saying that I understand. I like Radical Sniper. I'd totally forgotten about Desert because I was stuck in my head about doing it earlier, and neither of them did. In this case, you're getting some longer and more inconvenient overworld checks out of the way. Oh, he's using.
I think he has the ferry.
Yeah, and this is a nice, easy, full clear of both desert and swamp, whereas Ralen just spent all of this time for the Ice Rod and the OK Boomerang, and not much else up there aside from the Hera clear. So Radical Sniper is going to be up a dungeon here with this routing.
Yeah, so that's actually, given that Ice Rod is really the only thing Ralen found up there that's really that useful. That's not a great haul, since the only place you need it is up on the mountain anyway. And Sniper here gets a nice 300, so he's in really good shape to go check those flippers checks, which haven't been touched yet.
Yeah, actually, this routing is going to work out pretty nicely for Sniper, especially because now Ralen is going to do his Smith chain here, and he's going to be following Radical Sniper, and Sniper might be able to do a mountain clear a little bit more efficiently a little bit later on.
Yeah, it could end up being, okay, that's the next thing that he goes for, but given that it was pretty fruitless, Ralen didn't really get much out of it. it was a play that made a lot of sense. There's a lot of checks up there. He got a dungeon clear, but you know, it was kind of one of the fastest dungeon clears. There could be something in Hera basement if this Hera small key shows up before Sniper makes it there. So I think in general of that decision, I think Sniper came out on top.
Yeah, I still don't. I'm not gonna hate on Ralen, right? He wasn't wrong to make that play by any stretch of the imagination, but it has worked out in Sniper's favor.
Yeah, it didn't work out badly for him, but it's a play you would have liked to work out a little better. You know, you make that play hoping that you get a little bit more than Ice Rod, and you know, you never know, those pod smalls might actually become a bigger factor than the Ice Rod.
Yeah, I guess there were 2 pod smalls up there. Must have been.
Yeah. So Sniper right now doesn't have really enough to consider a pod dip.
I think there were 3 pod smalls up there, or maybe there was a pod small in. No, because there was rupees in King's Tomb, so there might have been 3 pod small keys up on the mountain.
Yeah, well, regardless, Ralen has 4 and Sniper has 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the desert first play, because you finish it off with Agina's Cave here, save and quit to Link's house, and then you go do Swamp. It's nice efficient world movement, because it's pretty slow to not save and quit out of here, but if you can save and quit to somewhere you really want to be anyway, which Link's house definitely is.
Yep, makes a lot of sense.
He's going to Sanctuary. This isn't that bad either. He might be going for the flippers.
He might be going up the mountain. Or flippers checks, yeah.
He didn't clear this Dark World though. Let's see. Well, we'll see. We'll see what he's going for. He can do King's Tomb. He can't do Graveyard Ledge.
Oh yeah. Well, at least we know that that's nothing.
So okay. Here's my prediction. He's going to do King's Tomb, Zora area, and into potentially whirlpooling back to Hyrule Field here and doing Swamp. Ralen is going directly into Swamp here. Looks like, not doing Desert.
That's fine too.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is probably informed by the equipment. Lanmos is a kind of slow fight with the equipment that these runners have at this point. Ralen could use the Ice Rod, I think,
the Ice Rod, yeah.
but it's a little finicky. Most runners aren't as used to that.
Yeah. All right. You know what though? Okay. Sniper is going up the mountain now before going to Swamp Palace, which I wholeheartedly disagree with. Yeah. I think that, you know, you just made the desert play. Why aren't you playing it out like that? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, and the only thing I could really imagine that he's hoping to find would be, you know, in an ordinary seed you'd be hoping to find a sword, right? But since he knows where the swords are,
but you're not going to get one.
He's not going to get one. And you know, maybe he's, you know, thinking, okay, you know, I can't afford to miss Flute up here or something.
They still do Swamp first. You're gonna go up the mountain eventually.
Yeah, if you know, a bow could change things. I'm just trying to think of what he could be imagining. He doesn't want to skip up here, because that's sort of what you have to imagine. He's thinking. He's thinking there could be something up here, and I don't think I can afford to leave it up here until later. And I can't. The only thing I can think of
is like if he doesn't know Bomb Diver down and is looking for the Cane of Samaria, but that is not enough of a reason, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like at this point in this league tournament, right? Not to throw shade on anybody, but you don't make a mountain play because you're not comfortable with Bomb Diver down. You know, if you don't know Bomb Diver down, you know that's kind of your fault. You live and die by the time loss and Swamp on that.
So Ralen with the advantage here, I think is safe to say. So far, not much of note in Swamp. But I imagine we found the... Oh, we didn't... He is going straight to the back, though.
Yeah, I do kind of like this. just because the big key hasn't shown up yet.
Sure.
And if he goes left side first and finds the big key in the bottom, he has to either come back in anyway, at least as far as the big chest, or climb back upstairs to open the big chest. This way, if the big key is in the back, he can combine that with the left side swamp play later.
He doesn't have to walk back, I suppose. But you're also saying that you can't do diver down now.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of the trade-off. But I feel like if you're doing swamp early like this, and this is relatively early in terms of our overall go mode progression, we're still missing a lot of items. You sort of want to minimize your time loss in this dungeon, and I feel like an extra dip for that big chest afterwards is a little bit more time than you save by doing diver down to check left side.
I suppose. I think that I don't know if this weren't map compass shuffle, right? I think I would agree with you.
Yeah,
but,
and yeah, for sure. Because you
know.
could always hope that the map and compass are over there.
He might just be
maybe
planning
he's hoping.
to skip it.
Yeah, he could be. I don't know how behind he could possibly think he is. Maybe he's feeling a little awkward after that fruitless mountain climb.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Or maybe he's trying to sort of make sure at the very least, he gets his 5-6 crystals shored up. Because he does have the ice rod. But
that's true.
Fred in chat pointing out that, if you save Swamp Palace for after Turtle Rock for Pyramid Fairy, that could be a play that Sniper is making here.
That doesn't save any time,
yeah,
though. Right? I mean, that saves, like... less than
I mean, with those two dungeons in particular,
second,
maybe if it was something other than Turtle Rock, you do Swamp Palace second.
Yeah.
But with as much stuff as you're going to need to find to be able to finish Turtle Rock, you're gonna at least hope that you found the flute at some point, right?
Agreed. Now we saw Ralen is going back in there. I did see him hesitate at the door. He was thinking about leaving.
You don't do that with 3 items. Two. Well, really, it's 2 items in here.
It's 2 items. Because one of them is going to be the big key.
And not to mention, 2 of those items could
you don't have a key yet.
Allow him to.
There you go.
Allow him to do Ice Palace. Either Bombos or Fire Rod could let him dip his toes in there. Possibly full clear it if he does it without the cane. If the cane shows up, that's a potential dip into Turtle Rock. So there are a lot of items that could show up that could inform where he goes next.
Oh,
Bow,
I agree.
That's Pod.
You absolutely go back in. Yeah, Bow would be Pod and Eastern.
With Mirror, that's a dream.
Yep. Yeah, and remember, Pyramid Fairy is not quite as valuable here. Because we know what one of the items are. It's Vanilla Sword, so there's going to be a sword there. It's going to be Tempered Sword for both of our runners, but maybe less in the front of their mind. Especially without the cane, without the Fire Rod.
When do you dive Pod here?
Ooh. If I'm Ralen, that might be the next thing I do.
Yeah, because there's a lot in there, and it's very possible for the stuff you need to be in Pod. The one problem is if it is bow locked, that drastically reduces.
Ralen has a red potion.
It drastically reduces the number of logical checks that are in there, though. So you do have to sort of consider the likelihood that you're gonna find something you need in there.
Oh, Chad bringing up a good point that Ralen should do Desert Palace next.
I don't think he did
Bombos.
So yeah, that's where he's heading here. So Bombos into Desert, which is what Sniper did earlier. Didn't come back for Swamp. And conversely, on Sniper's side, after this this mountain clear, I would imagine that he's probably going to be going to Swamp.
I would think, yeah. So
getting
looks
all
like,
the same nothing out of it.
So they're all, yeah, they're kind of going back and forth on each other and doing the same nothing here. Ralen is still going to turn out to be ahead, I think.
Yeah, neither has gained or lost enough time, really.
Yeah, and this desert clear is going to be a lot faster than Sniper's swamp clear. There was nothing of note, by the way, over on left side swamp, for what it's worth. Still the right call, but
yeah, I mean, without the bow, I'm sort of starting to get a suspicion here that that we're going to have really wanted to have checked those flippers checks a little earlier, because that's a lot of stuff that's kind of building up over there.
That's true.
And maybe Sniper goes over there first, because Sniper still has that the graveyard ledge to do, and can do graveyard ledge into Catfish into Waterfall.
Yeah, maybe this is the swamp.
Yeah, I mean, he would do this first. That is a still a kind of slow route, because that's a lot of time for those checks, but it's sort of the best you're gonna get with that group.
Maybe you do like, you do Swamp Palace, you head out, you mirror over onto Lake Hylia Island, swim over, mirror to Hobo, do Pod, Eastern, hope for a bow. Then when you're done, you walk out of Pod, go check the pyramid, and then Catfish, and then mirror to Zora, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in the absence of the flute, you sort of have to consider where you're going to go after you finish Swamp here. Because he could go right to those flippers checks, because those have been sitting for quite a while, and with those 5 pod smalls, again, I mentioned the bow locked, but it's not as simple as it is with the standard key logic, because if you can get 5 keys before you go in, well, then you don't really have to go to bow locked side at all, other than for those 2 chests. So you can really get to the back.
5 keys,
right? So they can get to the back fully in logic. So that is quite a few chests for them to open in there. They can't clear it without the bow, but
man, I wonder if there isn't a bow sitting in like Saha's closet, right?
Yeah, because they haven't been there either.
Or in Eastern Palace. The Bane, I get screwed by that a lot, right? Where I'm waiting for a bow to go over and check Pod in Eastern, but the bow is just sitting in Eastern, Yeah,
and of course later on in the seed you want to do Pod first, because then you just mirror to Eastern.
Right. Now we'll see if Sniper decides to do left side first here. Ice Rod, Landmo, let's go.
Oh, misses the 1 cycle.
Oh, almost. Really nice. Well done by Ralen. That Ice Rod fight is deceptively tricky, because I think most runners are pretty comfortable with the Fire Rod fight, but the Ice Rod is just different enough, right, that it can throw off your timing. You have to wait a little bit. Ralen is going to do Diver Down, or excuse me, Sniper is going to do Diver Down here. Oh, no, not doing Diver Down. I think maybe RadicalSniper is not comfortable with the Bomb Diver Down.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. You still get to save some nice time here with this. And if you're not confident with the Diver Down, like a lot of those tricks, if you're not completely confident in your ability to pull them off, going for them is possibly going to lose you a lot of time.
Yeah.
Especially with some of them that, save a marginal amount of time. It's demonstrably faster, but, only a couple seconds. So if you can't pull it off first try, you're already losing time, so.
See, for instance, the Tower of Hera bomb jump.
Yeah.
Which has been the bane of my existence for a long time.
Yeah, for some situations like that, it can save you time to just go for just do the vanilla strats, Don't get fancy. Just do it the way you know how to do it first time, even if it's a little slower, because it's like slow and steady wins the race. It doesn't always win the race. Fast and steady wins the race over slow and steady, but
that's true. I never really thought about it that way. Fast and sweaty or fast and sweaty. Ugh. Fast and steady wins the race. Seems like Ralen's taking my advice.
Yeah, and this
Going
makes
over here with the
yeah,
Lake
this
Highway
makes sense
Island.
with given what Ralen's cleared up at this point.
Yep, I like this. Headed over towards pod, can jump in the water and check Hobo real quick with the mirror on his way out. Or beforehand, that works too. I suppose it doesn't take a whole lot less time.
Hey, there's the bow.
Oh, there's your bow. Yep, there you go. All right, never mind. So the flippers were locking the bow. So Ralen is going to be definitely coming in here, and we're going to get a full clear of pod and Eastern incoming.
Yeah, and that's a heck of a lot of items. Because with our shuffle that we have on, that's it's going to be 2 extra items in Eastern for a total of 5, and another.
Two extra in pod.
Yeah, well, plus the small keys.
Oh, that's true.
Pods, yeah. So pod is gonna have just a million things.
Yeah, pod has 13 items now, I think.
And yeah, and Ralen can get it all. Yeah, and I'm sure that's exactly the thought process of why he checked the Hobo first. It's just give yourself the highest possible chance of getting that bow, because it's logically locking you out of 2 items, so you may as well put them in logic first, and you can get the clear.
Pod is always important, except when it's not. Never go in these double slashes. And he will get the green pendant check out of the way here. Green pendant, Eastern Palace.
Yeah, and that's 2 pendants done, and we have yet to clear Skull Woods. So that's sort of we're not unlikely to see our tempered sword come from the pedestal.
Yeah, so we're looking at our last pendant being either Thieves Town or Ice Palace or Misery Mire. I might go do Thieves Town after this, right?
Especially if the fire rod shows up here in one of these 21 checks.
Yeah, so 5 keys, you can full clear pod as long as you hammer jump.
So it looks like Sniper is going over here to the Flippers checks, which I think, again, makes a lot of sense.
It's going to work out well.
So he's not so terribly far behind. A couple minutes.
No.
But they're sort of converging here. We'll have to pay attention to what route Sniper here takes for and whether or not he decides to go for that Hobo.
Yeah, that could be a big thing. Oh, he is going to do it. He's going to swim up there, which is a little bit slower than running up there, I think. But
yeah, it's at least a little heads up from Ralen by going on land.
Yeah, but at least Sniper didn't forget about this.
And that's one of the benefits of skipping checks in bulk is it's harder to forget about any one of them. You know, if you just skipped Hobo, it's a lot easier to forget that you didn't do it. But if you skipped everything with the flippers, then you know you didn't do anything, so you check everything.
Ooh, we found the Cane of Samaria over there in pod.
Yeah, if we find the fire rod, you could do Ice Palace with that. That also opens up the possibility of dipping into Turtle Rock. Yeah, I didn't notice
definitely.
it because it is the ether medallion and we do have that.
It is ether, yeah.
But and then if the flute shows up, it's a full clear of Misery Mire on the table. So we're actually kind of approaching item go mode. We're still gonna need to find keys.
Yeah,
but...
this is we're looking for the fire rod for sure. We're looking for the flute for sure. Maybe a TR medallion. Maybe a bombos if fire rod is in Ice Palace. Still do need the second Castle Tower small key. And we're going to need at least one more TR key. Ralen has 2 now, so we're going to need one more of those at a minimum. Here comes Ralen's hammer yump. Very clean. That should work. Yep. Nicely done. There's our cape.
Yeah, it's not a super important item, but definitely a helpful one to have.
Added security going into the Ganon fight, if nothing else. With Quick Swap, I think that the cape is significantly more helpful. Because there are a bunch of places where like having an invincibility item like the cape, like the blue cane, would be optimal, but isn't because you have to menu. And so, like for instance, the Cannonball Room in Eastern, right? If you can just quick swap over to the Cane of the Cape, you can dash through there.
Yeah, and even then, with some of that depends on your item count at the time too. If your inventory is a little bit full and the other items you need are sort of on the opposite end of the wheel, so to speak, it can be a little awkward.
Sure, yeah, but if you think about it ahead of time, right?
And you sort of plan it out.
Menu to the Cape as you are walking into Eastern Palace, it works out. All right, so Ralen is approximately a pod, about half of a pod clear, 3/4 of a pod clear, ahead of Radical Sniper. 10 checks ahead of Radical Sniper. And so yeah, we are we're looking at a Castle Tower 2 small key hunt, which feels bad, and you get it in Key Sanity a lot.
Can't be on Ped though.
Why?
Because there's the sword on Ped.
Oh, because there's a sword there, right? Duh. But yeah, other than that, there are 215 locations it can be.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And there's the other sword. But yeah, there's and one chest in each dungeon that has to be the big key.
Ralen takes down King Helmasaur. What does the big guy have for us today?
Yeah, at this point, you're fine with whatever shows up. Yeah, it looks like Sniper's not going for the bomb jumps today, and I feel like.
Oh, you do this stuff first.
Yeah, but he's okay. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, you do this stuff first, or else you'd have to unlock the door.
Okay,
I
jumped the gun on that one a little bit.
Yep.
But we'll see if he goes for it, because he's been skipping a lot of this stuff in this seed, which in a game 5 scenario, I respect that. Just again, consistency is very key, and if you're feeling a little off on some of that stuff, do you really want to lose even more time from something you're maybe not feeling that day, or?
Yeah, exactly. He is going to go for it, though. Ralen, by the way, making me look smart and using the cape in that room. Thank you for that, Ralen. I appreciate it.
Yeah, now, unlike some of the other bomb jumps that we've mentioned, this is not one of those bomb jumps that saves a trivial amount of time. This one's actually very important in terms of routing, especially in Key Sanity, because it allows you to skip a key, potentially. It's not a huge deal right now because they do have enough keys to check it anyway, but it is definitely quite a bit more efficient of a way to check these chests. So that is definitely one of the tricks that a lot of these runners put a lot more practice into than some others.
Ralen getting a little bodied there by those Stealthos trying to do a hook speed. Did not work out.
Yeah, he's about halfway through Eastern Palace. Maybe a little more as Sniper's heading towards the Helmasaur fight.
So, I feel like the difference in this race so far is that Ralen got a bomb and escape.
Yeah, he's got more time than that. I would say, and I would say his execution has been a little bit cleaner overall. He hasn't been. I don't think I've really seen him mess up anything major. Barring that hook speed you just mentioned, but it wasn't exactly his fault. So and whereas Sniper had to give up on the bomb jump in Skull Woods. Has had a couple moments where he's been just a little bit iffy. He did get that hammer jump very well though, so he hasn't been spaghettiing all over the place, but he hasn't been able to catch up, which has been a big problem because the routing has been very sensible from both of these runners, which is makes it hard to make up a time difference if both runners are doing the exact same things.
Right. At some point, if he wants to win this race, Radical Sniper is going to need to figure out that he's behind and make a gamble. But this is at the 1 hour mark here. Let's reset a little bit. My name is Tyler Sull. I'm joined in the booth by Esmar. By the way, did not mention this, and I am so sorry. We have Yoinker's wife behind the scenes hitting the buttons, our tracker. Thank you to Yoinker's wife. This is game 5 of the semi-conference finals in the Open ALTTPR League between Amish Paradise, represented by Radical Sniper, and Oops Davara. It's auch nicht. Oops, it's not there either. Repped by Ralen Tankir. This is all dungeons, standard, vanilla swords, map compass, and small key shuffle here on SpeedGaming 5, or as I like to call it, the Cinco.
Yeah, so Ralen didn't find much of use in Eastern. Really, out of these entire 2 dungeons, the best we got was we did see the half magic show up in Eastern, as Sniper just picked that up in the first chest. But we did get the cane. Opens a little bit, not too terribly much. So I think the play is going to be, again, turn in that green pendant, continue on into some of these Dark World checks and Flippers checks that we left earlier. Now we have more than enough money for Zora, so we can figure that out. Notably absent have been any of the fetch quests save the shovel.
Yeah, no powder, no mushroom. None of that.
We also haven't seen the pyramid
Ralen
check
ahead
either.
approximately by an Eastern Palace.
Yeah, we also haven't seen a pyramid check, which Ralen is going to show us now.
All right. I might have skipped this. This is maybe my least favorite check in the game to make it to. I don't know why. I just don't like it. It's just a big 20. We forgot. This is, never mind. Good call. We have both chests here in Aga Tower.
We have the one key, which allows us to get to both chests that no longer contain those keys.
In fact, in game 4, I believe the second key, or one of these keys, was vanilla. The first key was vanilla, I think.
So we can open this chest. It's just some bombs, but the lamp, which we've had for a while now, puts the other chest in logic as well, and it's only 2 rooms away. So it's not a huge time investment, and it adds some value to this trip. So you don't have to consider another dungeon dive just yet.
Yeah.
And the mushroom, that's something he's happy to see if he was planning on going up there, because he gets to wrap that in.
Absolutely. This is the best time to turn in that mushroom, especially like considering that we don't have the flute yet.
And that's the last place he could have gotten that mushroom where it could still have possibly been convenient. Because I can't imagine he was planning on doing anything other than continuing up this way. Because there really isn't much else that he could sensibly do. On the other hand, Sniper might have to consider doing something a little less sensible if he wants to make up the lead, but I imagine that unless he senses that he's behind somehow, he's probably going to be following in Ralen's footsteps right here.
Yeah, the real power move, I think, would be going up for a TR dip. I don't know how defensible that would be, but...
Yeah, the fire rod is so important. Yeah. And we only have 2 TR smalls.
That's true. That makes that less... definitely less interesting.
If I recall, you need 4 to full
so you need 4 to full clear it. You need 3 if you skip the lava chest.
But that being said, with the small keys again not following the dungeon logic, it is a little bit more possible for the fire rod to be deep in Turtle Rock.
That is true.
Yeah, so if we start seeing more of these TR smalls, that could be a very real possibility that these runners are going to have to consider, but I think they're going to want to see another small key or 2 before they do that.
All right, these flipper checks have been in logic for a long time.
Yeah, we got those flippers in the escape sequence at the start of the game. Looking like not too big a deal that we didn't grab them, and now we can do the Zora check, which was not convenient earlier on.
Yeah. In logic, but not convenient. It looks like so far we're down to the flippers, probably item-wise at least, just locking that bow, as well as Swamp Palace, logically Ice Palace as well.
So from here, I would imagine the play is to go to Thieves Town. Ooh, never mind. Ice Palace might be making an appearance here. You could still do Thieves Town. And if we imagine that this isn't the Link to the Past Randomizer League, and this was just your average beginner player starting out, I almost might still recommend that, just for the possibility of being able to get a sword before doing this. However, in this situation, I would not recommend it, because I know how good these runners are, and I know how good they know their opponents are. So yeah, you don't hold out for the possibility of picking up a sword at the pedestal before you go here. You see that, Bombos? You go to Ice Palace. You can clear this out. You just get that done.
Yeah, and then if this is a crystal, right, I think then you go to Thieves immediately. Right? Because then it's a 50-50 shot that's your last pendant, or that's your last pendant, and you can get that sword, and then you don't need to worry about Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, the option is still open for us to get that sword, on our trip to Skull Woods, which is what you'd want to see. You don't want to see in these vanilla sword seeds. You don't like to for it to be sensible to finish Skull Woods before you've gotten all your pendants, so you can't pick up the sword there, because then you have to work in a trip either to the pyramid or to the pedestal if you want it. And like I mentioned, with how good these runners are, in a lot of situations, just doing the Master Sword fight is going to be preferable to that time-wise. If it comes down to the very end of the game and you're in a position to go to GT, it isn't necessarily worth the worth the time to go pick up another sword. You just have to make do.
Yeah. Yeah, only if it's convenient. Maybe if you don't find the silvers, I'd consider doing the Pyramid Fairy sword there, but I don't know. You got cape, you got half magic, you got a couple bottles. It'll be fine.
Yeah, with what they have, it would be fine. But you know, the Master Sword fight is, you know, without silvers, it's kind of hard. It depends. It's
more annoying and time consuming than it is difficult.
Yeah, and you just you really hope that your opponent wasn't able to avoid doing that fight just by
there's
having
our third TR small in Ice Palace. Vortex in chat bringing up hitting a switch before doing Icebreaker. If you got both small keys, you know, yeah, sure. I also think that there's some value to just hitting it every time and just not thinking about it. It's psychological value for sure. But, you know, if you've got the brain cells to rub together to figure out when to hit the switch and when not to, more power to you.
So Sniper about to pick up the Bombos medallion here. Probably going to make the same play. So again, this seed has sort of been a series of gimmies.
Oh yeah, and he's walking out and he's just gonna take the whirlpool.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if that's faster or slower.
Than to save and quit?
Yeah.
It's pretty close. Especially save and quit without the flute.
All right.
Oh, there's that second castle tower small in the Ice Palace big chest. So check that off the list.
Yeah, that's a nice thing to see, because now you know you don't have to hunt for it once you've gotten all your items.
Yeah. So all we're looking for now are the flute and the fire rod. And maybe Quake for Mire access. Dueling Ice Palace Bombacies? Bombacies. Bombosai.
Yeah, the half magic and cape making this much more comfortable of a fight. It's not that uncomfortable, but it sort of helps Ralen take him out a little faster, given that he only has the Master Sword. It's more speed than anything. If you aren't sort of cheesing it like this with that magic and cape, you sort of have to be a little more careful with where you place those sword slashes, which obviously takes time when you need to get so many of them in.
All right, it's actually I do agree with Leo in chat. It is Bombay, Bombae. That's also what I call my girlfriend who works on in explosive disposal. My Bombay. Oh, it's a good thing I like the sound of my voice.
Don't we all? All right, so Ralen has finished up Ice Palace. Really just has Thieves Town in terms of what he can actually clean up at this point. But he's going to TR.
Though.
This is
an aggressive play.
So if this is now to flip the script, if this is the wrong play, this is now an opportunity for Sniper to catch up by playing safe.
Yes. But if the fire rod's in here and Sniper does something else, you know, like this could, or if the flute's in here, this could be
especially since that other castle tower key did in fact show up. There's not nearly as much hope that it turns into a hunt in the end game, which is often something that can sort of save somebody who's just been trailing behind an entire race.
Yeah, they both dipped the front four of Thieves Town. The mirror was there, and I think the flippers were there as well.
No, the lamp was there. It was the mirror
lamp,
and the
lamp and the mirror.
And mirror and the lamp. Flippers were in Dark Cross.
That's right.
And so when you get those items in that location, it's like, nah, you come back later. You're not losing any time. However,
yeah, and neither of them has been in the back. Both of them mirrored out after the fourth chest, which was the mirror. I was a little surprised neither of them made the choice to just say screw the big chest and go back and beat it.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're missing a lot of items, and I know these runners have definitely more than once ended up losing a race to needing to go back and last location that Thieves Town big.
Mm-hmm.
And this is game 5, so the stakes are pretty high.
The Thieves Town small, right? Or the Thieves Town big chest.
Ralen makes a little mistake here. He forgets that he can't do anything over on that right side without the fire rod.
Womp womp.
Yeah, I'm sure he didn't go up here thinking he had it, but
muscle memory is real, guys. All right, there's our big key early. That's nice. That means we can skip lava chest.
Question is, how much do we want to?
That's true.
Might
be the fire rod, might be the flute.
It would be a risk to not skip it. I feel just by the numbers, because you'd like to be able to make it through to. You don't want to have to hunt for another TR small necessarily.
Yeah,
but
I've definitely lost a race because I accidentally opened that door. In fact, I might have done it in League this season, so.
Well, meanwhile, Sniper is using the hammer strats against Cold Stare. Maybe he gets a little faster of a fight out of it. It's a little more dangerous, but I'd say this is probably a smart move with the red mail, because it's not nearly as dangerous as it would be if he'd had less armor. But he's got the armor, he's got the health. May as well reduce the number of hits.
Yeah.
However, you can get them in quite a bit quicker when you do abuse that cape a little bit, so might have to be a rewatch bonus to find out who actually did that fight a little faster. And here we see Ralen,
yeah.
And I think that's play. You leave one, keep going, because there's a lot more further down. And if you're already coming up here without fire rod, may as well maximize the value of the gamble rather than taking a gamble and then playing it safe after the fact. So, Thieves Town is our last pendant.
Good heads up map check there by a sniper who picked up the Thieves Town map at some point, but is going up the mountain.
Yeah, it is, a little unfortunate, because it's like, well, you don't go and clear Thieves Town just to pick up a sword. I mean, you could.
You're not clearing Thieves Town just to pick up a sword. You have to clear it.
You have to clear it, but again, there are a lot of items available up here, and you really want to see the fire rod before you go pick up that sword, so you can, wrap it in with clearing that Skull Woods. We find the powder in Mimic Cave, so that's one of those fetch quests back on the table now.
Okay, so RadicalSniper's doing Spike Cave.
I don't know. Ralen did
before. Yeah, he did some different, different mountain routing on his first climb. So we'll see whether he continues on, because he's going to have to save and quit out of here. We'll see whether he continues on or he's just cleaning this up. And he's going to Thieves Town. So this is, I think, good.
This is the deciding point of the race, I would say.
Yeah, that decision right here is the race, I think.
And so whoever comes out on top here is, I mean, it could still be in lava chest. You could have fire rod and lava chest, which could potentially be unfortunate for both runners. Right now it's only for sure unfortunate for Ralen. I would say it's more unfortunate for Ralen because Sniper might find another TR small key along the way
Right.
here. But I do like going to Thieves Town here. You know, just clean it up.
All right, Laser Bridge. We got a compass. We've got a bonk. The flute.
Ooh, that's
That
large.
is pretty big.
That's something that Ralen is going to. One of the things you wanted before you went back to do Thieves Town is find that flute so you can activate it. And that opens up the possibility for Fire Rod over in Meyer area.
Yep. And Tracy making a good point that he takes a death here, is probably looking to save Scum the lava chest. So really, Sniper's got to hope that the Fire Rod is here. In Thieves Town.
Yeah, if it is, that's great for him because it lets him clear out everything, go up to Turtle Rock to finish it, and get his flute to do Meyer afterwards. But that flute being in TR has paid off very big for Ralen.
Yep, just a Meyer small key. So we're going to get a hard reset here from Ralen to save Scum and save that TR small, so he won't need to look for the last one.
Yeah, when you think about it, save scumming, you know, it's fair, but it on some level to me it like feels like it shouldn't be fair, you know? Like, man, you know, you have one key, you have to choose where to use it, man.
No, screw that. I like the save Scum. Do it. I think it's always heads up.
I mean, yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I don't know, something deep in my core like disagrees with it, even though I know it's fine, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, that shouldn't be allowed, should it? Well, I guess so. I guess it's fine. But yeah, he's going activating that flute. He's going to be heading straight to Meyer area.
Yeah. I think Tracy is right in chat. I like things that add strategy, all sorts of things. I like anything that gives runners more decisions to make, because that's what's interesting about this game. I think. Now it activates his flute. Gonna go check Magic Bat. Powder was in Mimic Cave.
Yeah, this works out just so nicely for Ralen.
Just a piece of heart.
Yeah, and just a compass in Thieves Town here. So that's unfortunate news for Sniper here.
Yeah, so this is, I think, advantage Ralen pretty significantly at this point.
Because I don't think Ralen has anything else left on the table.
No, he'll go straight to Meyer. I mean, what if this is Quake? I guess if this is Quake, then Quake is probably under the doormat.
Right, like there's not much else that Sniper could do here that's going to and Sniper here has to clean up Graveyard Ledge because he didn't do it earlier.
Yeah, I did not see what it was. That check was lightning quick. But we'll see here in a second. No, it's Bombos.
Probably Bombos. Yeah, definitely Bombos.
It'd be weird if you were walking over there and quick swap to Bombos and then it was Ether. That would be weird.
I mean, you know, I don't put anything past these runners. They're wacky folks. Maybe trying to just play mind games with the stream.
It's true.
No, it's not.
Now, okay. I suppose you want, like,
well,
you went and did Thieves Town.
Yeah, no, this makes sense. You finish this out. If you find Fire Rod along the way, you clear it. Because I imagine you were referring to not checking checkerboard.
I'm saying Radical Sniper is going up to Thieves Town without getting the tempered sword.
Yeah. You mean Turtle Rock?
Yeah.
I do. Going and getting the tempered sword is time. You really the biggest time save you get from the tempered sword is the Ganon fight. It's not going to save you that much time anywhere else. So
it's non-trivial on a Trinex fight
right,
too.
But even considering that, he knows he's probably not going to be doing the Trinex fight here anyway. He really wants to,
and if he does, then he's gonna go right back and do it. Anyway.
And it's a lot. It's a huge time save to be able to just do it right after you clear Skull Woods.
Chat's saying a couple things that Hammer Trinex isn't bad. Like, no, it's not, but like it's definitely like a little bit harder.
The other thing too is if Fire Rod is
Town small key.
If Fire Rod is up here, if Fire Rod is in Turtle Rock, in Sniper's mind, he clears Turtle Rock. And then he's got both 5/6s, and he can just do Pyramid Fairy, which is, or
let's not sleep on the fact that. Sorry, I think let's not sleep on the fact that Ralen just pulled the Thieves Town small out of Mire.
Right. I mean, it's at this point, it's I would say Ralen has to make some mistakes for Radical Sniper to catch up here, but just because of the fact that you've got. He's just behind. He's just ahead. Everything that Ralen has available is locked behind something that Sniper has yet to do. Because again, like that's showing up. There's no possible chance that Sniper gets there before Ralen has a chance to check it. It's.
Yep. Yeah. No. Ralen's absolutely going to have to make a mistake for Sniper to catch up at this point.
And if I know that that from what the comments that I got from him after I did the vodcast of his last race is he's definitely not going to be looking to allow himself to make any mistakes here. He felt he made a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes, as I'm sure we all do. We all feel we make some uncharacteristic mistakes from time to time, but in this game 5 scenario, it's all on his shoulders. He's gonna be very focused on his execution, making sure he doesn't slip up anywhere.
Well, and there's our Fire Rod in Misery Mire. So at 1 hour and 26 minutes and some odd seconds, Ralen Tankir is in go mode, and he's not looking for anything else.
Yeah, we already have everything we need. All of the big keys are in the dungeons. He's going towards his Misery Mire boss, and then he's just got Blind and Mothula.
Blind and Mothula. And Trinax.
And like we said earlier, that the decision of going to Thieves Town instead of going into Turtle Rock, it definitely decided the race. Because if it had paid off to go to Thieves Town first, that would have really equalized things. But as it stands now, like we said earlier, Ralen is going to have to make a major mistake for a Sniper to make up this time difference.
Yes.
And in retrospect, I kind of do like the choice of going straight up to Turtle Rock that Ralen made. Just from a perspective of not being too afraid of the time it takes to climb the mountain, because there were a lot of checks available up there and a lot of information you could gain.
Yep, I agree. I think that like climbing the mountain is a lot of time, but you know what takes more time than climbing the mountain is double dipping TR. Like, oh wait, no, hold on. What am I saying? My point is, regardless of what I just said and what it means, I think my point is that I like the idea of playing to win. I think playing to win is going to Turtle Rock and assuming that progression is there.
Yeah, and being able to sort of
hoping that it's the fire
accurately
right.
Being able to accurately assess, you know, the risk. You know, okay, I know that this, if it is the wrong play, is going to cost me this much time, but how much time is it going to save me? How likely is it that this play is going to benefit me? And doing that sort of risk analysis in real time, you know, you don't really crunch numbers in your head, but you sort of, from experience, you sort of start to understand some of those things on sort of an instinctual level.
Yeah, it's risk reward. Sniper picks up his flute. Ralen gonna take down blind, head over, pull the pedestal, presumably, and then take down Mothula, head back up to TR and GT.
Yeah, so numerically, Sniper's going to be making up a little bit of time here since Ralen is retreading old ground, but still, I can't imagine a world in which he doesn't do everything that Ralen did. Maybe he skips cutscene chest and goes left side or right side first.
Yeah.
But even that's not going to be enough time. He's going to need that, maybe a minor mistake, and like a tile room level GT big key, you know.
Yeah, but you know, it's unclear to me how behind Sniper thinks that he is, you know.
I mean, I feel like he should be able to have some inkling, just even if only from the fact that he had to go and clear out, clean up just Spike Cave. He had to go clean up just Graveyard
Yeah,
Ledge.
that's a good point. Yeah, just an extremely linear seed here.
Yeah, and on the other hand, Ralen didn't have to do either of those. He wrapped those in with other checks.
Yeah, his routing was a little bit more efficient in that way.
And so the end result of that is, from Sniper's perspective, is he knows that he skipped those earlier, and at any point, if he has to go back and check them again later, even if they're not worth anything, he knows that any time he would have saved, he has lost again. So it's definitely advantage Ralen in that respect.
Remember that at stake here, not only a trip to the Final Four, as it were, to NCAA, please don't sue us. The conference finals, I should say. Also at stake here, the final four teams in the open bracket get automatic invitations to next season's Invitational League. So that is that's at stake here as well. Yeah, thinking about the GT Big Key Hunt, I don't think that's enough to make the difference at this point. The only thing I can think of is if Ralen starts making a couple mistakes execution-wise, has a rough Ganon fight, and Sniper, for some reason, decides to gamble and do Tile Room first, right? And, you love to see that when it happens. I think it's fun, but I don't know if he thinks he's behind enough to do that.
Yeah, I would in no way expect him to think he's that behind. I mean, I am a big proponent of that play, and even with the kind of hilariously terrible mistakes that I make from time to time, I still almost never go for it, just because it's so bad if you don't get it. If you think you still have any chance at all, you give it all away if you don't find the big key in that specific location. Yeah, and Sniper's losing a little bit more time here by checking this. Could end up being silvers or something.
Yeah, not enough to make the difference, but
yeah, again,
there it is.
Yeah, that could help. It's definitely going to speed up Vitreous.
Definitely going to speed up Vitreous. Definitely going to speed up Ganon a little bit.
Yeah, it's slightly too little, slightly too late. In in a world where he, committed to some of those other gambles that, in that world doesn't really make sense, leaving Graveyard Ledge, leaving Spike Cave unchecked. That maybe could have made up a little bit more time, but right now, Ralen is has kind of run away with this. It's just a little bit out of reach, I would say.
Especially with the way that that Ralen has been executing thus far.
I can't give Ralen the disrespect of saying that puts Sniper back in it, because Ralen is very good.
No. Yeah, the silvers. Vortex brings up a good point. Silvers could be a minute or so total, right? If they have to do Ice Armos, it's another big spot where it will help. Radical Sniper is gonna miss out on some time saves here, getting the lamp out, will do the fire, at least the top chest here. Not sure if he'll go on to do cutscene first, but we know that fire rod is over in the map chest of TR. All right, SpeedGaming chat, get hype. It's a pet check.
He didn't even check the inscription.
Didn't even look at it. Oh, it's a tempered sword, right? Okay.
Yeah, it looks like Sniper is going for cutscene chests. It makes sense.
I disagree. I think you tell the firelock checks to screw off here and go right. But whatever, it's not a big deal. It's even slower because you got the lamp.
Yeah, but then again, you really don't want the fire rod to be here. Yeah, it sort of also becomes a game of, at what point do you decide to avoid a check just because it would be the worst case scenario for you?
Yeah.
And I feel like he doesn't necessarily quite feel like he's at that point yet.
I mean, he's been very conservative for the most part. But, you're just one item from go mode, right? You leave that one until last.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would most of the time. I like, regardless of how behind I may or may not feel like I am, I generally like taking the gamble that cutscene chest isn't it. That being said, he definitely wasn't quite one item from go, because he did need to figure out which chest in here contained the big key.
Yeah, but it's here, so. All right, Ralen is in TR. We'll zip through here.
He's not checking the firelock side.
Why bother?
It could be the silver arrows over there. You know he definitely want them.
Yep. He already went in that room anyway. So there's a Radical Sniper's fire rod at 136.
Kind of, an interesting note, given that this is key sanity, that would have ordinarily been one of the first checks either of these runners looked at.
Yeah, but didn't have, only came in with one Meyer small.
Well, I think it's because they came in with one Meyer small, they went straight to the right side. If they'd come in with none, they would have found that a lot earlier.
Yeah, that's probably true. Oh, hey, Esmar, I have a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you like guessing games?
I sure do like guessing games.
Because this is Map Compass Small Key Shuffle, so we get to play the Ganon's Tower Big Key guessing game. How about that?
We sure do. As soon as Ralen picks up this last crystal in TR, that's going to be go for our guessing game here.
I'm all ready for it.
Yeah, so we're starting it a little early, but I'm sure most of you know the drill. There are 22 checks that can contain the big key. It's going to be slightly different here, just because of what little small key logic there is in the GT basement is sort of out the window here. But number 1 through 22, all of them roughly equal chance to have that GT big key.
I didn't mean to start it early. I meant to just send that emote and forgotten that I had already typed $star into the chat. So whoops.
Yeah, so right now Ralen is a little less than a go mode TR ahead, which is it's a lot of time. So I'm sure RadicalSniper99 here would definitely want Ralen to be seeing a big fat 22 here. But it's kind of an interesting area of the game, because there are a couple different ways you can go through, a couple different ways you can try to maximize your time, or you can try to make a gamble and find it a little sooner. And you also have to consider the habits of your opponent. For example, in Ralen's in the game 3 race that Ralen played, Zero Nix had said that he knew that Ralen liked to go full right after finding a key on the right side, and decided to go left. Unfortunately, it was kind of the I think it was kind of the wrong option, but that never mind that. That's a different race. Here, that's chest number 1, chest number 2.
Well, I lost. I just won.
He's going to be running past Tile Room here. He has 4 keys. Doesn't really care about any of that.
Oh man, that was close. I thought Radical Sniper got wall mastered there.
Yeah, that's it's a spooky situation. Not just because there's a big disembodied hand, but also because it could cost you a fair bit of time that you can't really afford right now.
Yeah, I agree. Vortex in chat. I have no idea why neither of them pulled Ped before going into Skullwoods. Number 3, Heart Container. Number 4, Blue Cane. Number 5, 10 Arrows. Number 6 is a Red.
He's not continuing through. Also not grabbing the other the free key.
He came in with 4.
Yeah, he came in with 4. So
there's
again,
the big key.
Yeah.
Number 7 on the torch.
And you can make up some time by finding that one first, but it's not deep enough, honestly. So yeah, there's not going to be a huge opportunity for Sniper to make up any time in there, unfortunately.
No.
He's going to be able to make up a little bit of time on the climb. Silver arrows are going to help when the next 2 rooms that Ralen is going through, but again, that's just peanuts.
But yeah, if Sniper goes Hope left, then it'll be a little bit faster. But so GG's to Angelsk Joe, the winner of the Against Tower Big Key guessing game. You get 21 imaginary internet points, the most important thing in the world. Small Z Warden 6 also guessed it correct and got 5 bonus points. Angel SK, excuse me.
Angelsk.
That sounded more angry than I meant. But yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, it almost feels like the Sniper's not too far behind, but yeah, he's got to do all of TR.
Yep.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of close races this season. Unfortunately, this one isn't as close as some of them have been, but it's not over yet. Ralen could still have a rough time with some of these. He does have a slightly longer, slightly less comfortable, more finicky Ganon fight.
Yeah.
Sniper's gonna have those silvers, but again, he was very efficient in how he did his checks early on. He didn't leave anything on the table like Sniper ended up doing, and he made a good call earlier on, and went up to TR first and got that flute.
It's funny, after practicing a bunch of NMG last year, I feel more confident with the silverless fight than I do with the silvers fight at this point.
Yeah, the biggest thing with the silverless fight is getting yourself comfortable with setting up for triples and stuff, because that can really cut down on the amount of time. But if you haven't practiced it, it's kind of hard to if you go for it, you often end up missing your doubles too. If you haven't practiced it much, I'm very guilty of that.
The key, by the way, is to light the torch as Ganon is appearing on the bottom of the screen during the warps. That is the setup for triples.
All right, Ralen is one room away from the final mini-boss of Ganon's Tower. Not interested in any of these chests, not even checking for the silvers. Very nice pattern there.
Of course, Ralen still is going to have to do Aga Tower, Aga 1. This is all dungeons. But Sniper will too, so... All right, geometry test time. Ooh, I didn't think that first one would hit. That's 2 hits. Another 2, I think. That's 4.
That was almost 3.
Yeah.
Just needs one more double, and it's a perfect setup for it.
Really nice fight. 2-2-2 is about the best that you can realistically hope for. You need a lot. You need a lot of luck for the triples.
Yeah, triples are nice, but in order for them to matter at all, you need to actually get 2 of them in a row. Otherwise, it's just as good as getting 3 doubles.
Yeah. That happened to me once. It was very cool, and it will never happen again. Nice try next fight from Sniper.
I like
Pretty
that swag
clean.
bonk to get over the hole. Why walk around when you can go across?
That's the optimal way to do it. That's the optimal way to do it. I don't know. That's swag.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe it is. I have no idea.
It doesn't have to not be optimal to be swag, in my opinion. Some of the best strats have plenty of swag, in my opinion.
Swag saves frames. A little known fact.
Yes, this is going to be a pretty trivial Ganon's or Aghanim's Tower rather. We do have the Tempered Sword in hand, which is basically the most you really need for any of these guards. The Gold Sword can take care of some of the later ones a little faster, but nothing that's really too major.
Clean bow key guard room, that can be a little bit tricky. Nice NMG style strap there. Wasn't quite the optimal style trap. Oh, Radical Sniper is going to go to the right side, is not doing his normal do hope go left. So not making any time up here, unfortunately.
Oh, there's a pretty nice hook speed there in the Princess Chamber here.
Yes. Speaking of swag, do you really run all dungeons if you don't do that hook speed? The answer is no.
And now this fight does have some RNG in it, but it's going to be the same for both runners unless one of them somehow dies and has to do it a second time. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. Not in a broadcast race scenario anyway.
Yeah.
Certainly not at the end of an all dungeon seed.
No.
And that's going to be Aga 1 down. So we're counting down from 2 to 1, and I suppose Ganon's here is going to be 0. So dropping in just after 1 hour 50 minutes. It's a very nice second pattern there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Gotta love it when you can get into that that spot there and get those double tempered spins.
Yeah, that's sort of the scenario. That scenario being likely is kind of the reason why it's never really worth going out of your way for the gold sword for this fight, because the gold sword doesn't do any extra damage to Ganon on spins, and the tempered sword spin is just as good as a gold sword slash, and you can do those kind of just as fast as the slashes when you can set those up.
Long distance. Gets a silverless hit in there. Oh, he's doing silverless. That's
yeah,
right.
he's gonna need to get several of those, 12 if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, able to get the up triples. That's really nice.
Yeah, unless you set up the torchlight in just the right way, it's not possible to get the triple hit in, just because of the timing of the lamp. So if you learn how to do that, you can do this fight much more efficiently. You can do, sort of 4 torch cycles instead of 6.
Right. There it is.
Yeah, and that's a great silverless fight. Not flawless, but certainly nothing to be embarrassed about, and that's a clean finish to a cleanly played seed overall, and that's going to be an official time of 1 hour 52 minutes and 12 seconds. So GG's to Ralen and Ups da war es auch nicht, taking the division or the conference semifinals here.
They will be moving on to the conference finals. They have also secured a spot in next season's Invitational League as a top 4 finisher in the Open League. Big GG's to Oops. Ralen is going to head over to the German restream first, at least for an interview. We'll see if he's able to come join us after he is done there.
Yeah, I mean, in his place, I would too. I'd be cracking open a nice German beer with my buddies over there and celebrating right now, because that's it's got to be a good feeling, especially redemption from going down in game 3, being able to turn it around, play better than he felt he did on I think that was on the first, actually. That was on New Year's Day that match was, and you know, stick it together and get his team to W in the end. So that's it's got to be a great feeling.
Oops, coming back from the 2-1 deficit in this race or in this series there. So well done. Ooh. Oh, this is a dumb room.
Yeah, half the time that happens to the guard instead. You don't even have to hit him, he just walks off.
So chat, we're hopefully going to get both of these runners in for an interview at some point, probably Sniper first and then Ralen, we'll see. So, but if you have any questions for either of them, do put them in the chat, and we will do our best to answer them. Or to ask them, I guess.
To ensure that they become answered.
Yes.
Yeah, not too long now. Sniper just has the AGA 1 fight, and then the Tempered Silver's Ganon fight, which is a pretty trivial fight, especially with this much equipment. You know, you've got the 4 bottles, but with the red mail and that many hearts, you don't really care all that much.
Yeah, the nice thing about all dungeons is you get that health refill after beating the AGA 1 fight before dropping into Ganon. That's part of the reason Sniper shooting some silver arrows at AGA. Doesn't work quite yet. Ooh, lands one. Nice. The unknown sword. We know exactly what sword that is, game. We pulled the pedestal. How dare you? I didn't really catch it last time. This is a bit of a rude AGA 1 pattern. Lots of blue balls from AGA this time. Back off, buddy. Ganon singing songs by the police here. Confirmed Ganon is a cop. Radical Sniper using that cape to great effect. Gets those double spins in.
Yeah, certainly not as doesn't care as much for that magic bar, since only is going to need those silver arrow hits.
Nice immediate one, too. Oh, misses the torch glitch. Not a big deal, but...
Oh, that's almost trivial when it comes to the silvers
might
fight.
get a triple
and
here, though.
he
One,
just sets
two,
it up for
and 3. Nicely done.
Yeah, lots of ways to back up for the torch glitch. Torch glitch is most helpful in the silverless fight, because it really frees up your options to try and get those triples and try to shave down as much time. With the silvers, there's so much you can do for backups that's why the silvers are considered such a great item. But GG's Radical Sniper finishing it off with an official time of 1 hour 59 minutes and 3 seconds. So under 10 minutes difference, which considering the race we all saw is still a tremendous showing, and a hard fought series overall. Just very, very well done from both teams.
Yeah, game 5, the best 2 words in sports, best 2 words in speedrunning as well in these kinds of races. Love a winner go home situation, and this race really came down to like a little bit cleaner execution on Ralen's side, but really it was just 1 or 2 decisions that were the big difference in this race.
Just the kind of seed where, if the difference never has a chance to get made up. It was a very linear seed in terms of our go mode.
And we are joined here in the booth by RadicalSniper99. GG's, my friend.
Thank you. GG's to Ralen there. I know he's over with the German SpeedGaming interview, so... Whew.
So,
yeah, hopefully he'll be joining us a little bit later.
I don't know if
you...
you didn't really talk about it in the race room, but so what do you imagine the difference was?
Tough to say. I'm guessing there's definitely a piece of this where it just felt like I probably played it too safe at times, overchecked. I know the start wasn't my smoothest. Like, I didn't feel like escape really helped things just from feeling good, but after that I felt like I settled in pretty nicely. But I know that some of the checks I made extra along the way, especially like Spike Cave, like waiting on Thieves Town, checking Lava Chest, like doing Spike Cave, all those little things that I know have irked me in the past, just kind of going to them and being like, oh, I should go do them, and then they all didn't pay off this time.
Yeah, it was kind of a painfully linear seed, but I think we've also got Ralen here in the booth here.
Hey, GG's Radical Sniper.
GG's Ralen.
Yeah, GG's Ralen. Nice job here today. What do you think? You guys, I'm going to ask you the same question that we just asked Radical Sniper. What do you think the difference was here today? Because from our perspective, at least, and if you watch this back, there was kind of one critical point where this race ended up turning on. I'm wondering if you have any idea of what that was.
Actually, not really. I had some solid routing in the mid game, which enabled me to clear this seed very efficiently. So I was mostly banking on my execution to maybe be that bit stronger and carry me, even with all those out of the way checks I also cleared. So yeah, I cannot really pinpoint something right now.
Yeah. You were a little, definitely your execution was a little bit cleaner than Sniper's. You were a little bit more efficient dealing with some of those more out of the way checks, but you guys were pretty close until both of you finished pod, I believe. And
it was it Ice Palace?
Ice Palace. Yeah, it was Ice Palace.
Ice Palace.
You're pretty close. Coming out of Ice Palace, Ralen went right to TR. Radical Sniper went to Thieves Town first, hoping that the fire rod was there, I assume. And unfortunately, that gave Ralen the flute significantly earlier, and the seed was so linear that Sniper didn't really have a chance to make up the time at that point.
Okay, yeah, that was actually the point where I was kind of worrying about for most of TR until I saw that flute on Laser Bridge, because Thieves Town, although the boss was reachable, there was just one of the 4 chests there in logic without the small key, and knowing that it's even a pendant and that small key could have been just in GT, I was trying more to go to the in-logic chat, which at that point was just TR, even though I completely blanked on not having the fire rod for a second there.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. The possibility of those checks not being in logic until after TR, which can't contain the fire rod. That's actually a nice bit of heads up, bit of key sanity logic routing there. But yeah, overall, that was sort of the point at which I don't want to put it this way, but it appeared unwinnable for Radical Sniper at that point, when you found the flute and the fire rod didn't show up in Thieves Town, because from that point forward, it was just, well, he's just now got to do everything Ralen's done, but afterwards. So, but that was a pretty that was sort of the most significant moment. Before that, there was, a little bit of difference here and there, but it was a fairly close race overall. Even at the end, only less than 10 minutes difference.
Yeah, I knew the key logic with Thieves. I just had this suspicion, like, okay, I can reach 3 of them out of logic. I'm guessing that the Thieves Town Small is going to come up soon. Like, I just had a feeling GT was going to be completely empty. So I was just like, I'm going to risk it. Plus, I had left Graveyard Ledge, so I was like, I'll do Thieves, I'll check Graveyard, and then I'll activate my flute, or I'll head up to TR after that, because I was just like, I don't know, I was hoping for Fire Rod. I really was.
I think a totally defensible decision. It was pretty clear that you were looking for the fire rod, and if it had shown up there, right, neither of you went to the back in your first trip, but both of you pretty smartly, without the small key and with the mirror in the front, mirrored out. And then left the back for later. And if the fire rod had shown up back there, it would have been your race to lose for sure. Unfortunately, it wasn't there. Nothing was there. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I felt good finding silver arrows. That was like I went into that knowing, like, before I went into tomorrow, I was like, I'm gonna check checkerboard just because it could be fire rod and I'm in go mode, or it could be silver arrows and it can only save time on Biddy.
Right.
And like I don't know, I got lucky, I guess, that was there, but it still felt really nice.
Esmar also got lucky, saying, hey, maybe the silvers are here in checkerboard immediately before you walk in. So thanks for that.
Yep.
Yeah, I knew at that point I was in go mode with fire, and although it could have been there, it felt just more likely that it would be in Mire, especially the way the seat was laid out. And yeah, it's in the end, I didn't really need the silvers, so.
Yeah, no, I was the same opinion. It was like, I don't need them, but at the same time, I was like, oh, if I could have them for this fight, like, that would be a nice little bonus.
Yeah, and if the race had been closer, that could have. They definitely could have made a difference if you hadn't lost the time of doing Thieves Town first. If you'd managed to sort of keep better pace and follow more closely in the routing that Ralen took, that's not an insignificant amount of time between Vidya and the Ganon fight. If it's a difference, but yeah, it's nice comfort food.
Now, first, we're going to do some season wrap-up here, some series wrap-up here. Radical Sniper, I'm going to start with you. Your season is over, unfortunately, but Amish Paradise can be extremely proud of how well you've done along with your teammates, Zero Nix and Jawsome Sauce. Can you give us some wrap-up words on
Sure.
On your season?
So it's funny because actually right after the race ended, like the three of us have been kind of chatting in our little Discord group, and ironically, I want to say there's kind of some relief. It's so just to kind of give a kind of wrap on us as a team. Jaws and Zero were in this past year's mentor tournament, so they pretty much were brand new then. And I had started racing Rando in like end of March with the ladder. So we are, brand new runners. And I think when we went up 2-1 in this series, and even when we were up in the first series against Noble Foxes, we kind of thought we were a little punching upwards above our station a little bit in some regards. And kind of reach this stage one game away from invitational. Like, I think we were all kind of feeling the weight of the idea that we could have made invitational next year, and just I think there's a bit of relief to say, okay, we can work on getting a lot better for next year or next time, and continue to kind of improve, because we definitely would like some of that time.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, while you were talking there, Jossum DM'd me and said, "Is it weird that I'm relieved because now we get to be a top seed in the Open League next year and not just fodder in the Invitational League?" So
I think we kind of felt the same. We had talked about it. We had joked about it as a team, as kind of like that was the thing. Like, we had a great time. All three of us felt like we just learned so much. I think each of us kind of got to work on a lot of new skills this year or this season, and just, really grow as runners. Each of us, you talk to each of us individually, and I think you'll find that kind of the same kind of thing. I'll say, like, for me, it was, I learned how to hammer jump this season, right before
you pulled it
ADT's
off
week.
very smoothly in this seed, by the way.
I do know some things that I still need to work on. Unfortunately, like, I look at that the bomb jump in Skull, and the I don't like doing diver down with bombs. I absolutely abhor it. And unfortunately, my sprite makes Shadow looking at a little harder. I learned that the Hollow Knight sprite has, as I like to say, it's got a big butt and kind of covers its shadow. So the Harapot with Hollow Knight is not the best.
Yeah, a little trick here. Well, GG's, like I said, you have nothing to be ashamed of. Really, really good showing here. Did the entire Gomo podcast community proud. So GG's to you. Ralen, how do you feel moving on? You're going to be playing the winner of the other Dark World Conference final. Game 5 for that is, I guess, early tomorrow morning, late tonight, depending on your perspective. 1:40 a.m. On Sunday. Shipu versus Wired Wiki of Black Lotus versus OK Game, respectively. You haven't had much time after this race, but how are you feeling looking forward to the conference finals?
Oh, that's going to be exciting races. I really want to see who comes out on top on that match already, because there are interesting people to race against in both teams. So yeah, we will try our best regardless, and try to go for the win in the Open League. The invitation is just not enough. We want everything.
Yeah, go for the title, absolutely. And I know that. Can you talk a little bit about? I know that your team had to have a member drop out at the last second, and you were able to replace them with Ramon, which is really nice, a former league champion in Ramon. How has it been, kind of integrating him into the team and playing there?
Well, it wasn't really that hard actually, because Ramon and Death King are already playing very, very much stuff, and very, very much Zelda Rando. Just not really much Link to the Past. But, well, okay, that's not the topic for here, but yeah. Now those two are doing pretty much or very many things already, and yeah, so I know them both also, and even with the B-Science, we're all from the German community, all pretty or somewhat close, so it was not really a problem. And yeah, so that was
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Esmar, do you have any final questions for our racers?
No, I think we just about covered it. You know, it was a good run for both of you. One of you is going to keep going, and looking forward to see what you guys show us in the finals.
Well, make sure you follow these two guys if you haven't already. Their handles in the chat. Thank you very much to Ralen and to Radical Sniper. Any last words from either of you, real quick, before we go?
Just GG's to Ralen. Good luck to you and the rest of your team in the conference finals. It was a pleasure playing all of you this week and the last week. And thanks everybody for the restream.
I can basically just say the same. So yeah, thank you for racing us. We're pretty exciting races, and yeah, we will try our best to go for the win.
Good luck to you in the next round. So from all of us here at SpeedGaming 5 The Cinco, thank you for watching. There is one more open league race, quote unquote, today. If you're up, depending on your time zone, 1:40 a.m. Eastern time tonight/Sunday morning, again, to figure out which team is going to be up against Oops in the conference finals coming up there. Thank you to Esmar. An absolute pleasure working with you, my friend.
Oh yeah, likewise, and big shout outs to Junker's wife for doing the tracking here. And I think that will do it for us. So we'll see you all next time.
Yeah, for all of us here, thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and have a safe and pleasant rest of your weekend, everybody. Take care.